Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have the Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships book tag. So this tag was created by the wonderful Rocky from Blonde with a Book, and she also tagged me to do it as she knows that I am a huge 1975 stan. As you can tell, this is just one of like my 6 1975 t-shirts. It has been a hot minute since I did a tag video. It was a couple of months ago when I decided I didn't want to do Tag Tuesdays anymore, but I was going to do them till the end of the year. And then essentially I was filming a tag and I rage quit. So there hasn't been a tag video from me in quite some time. However, today is a little bit of a special occasion. And that special occasion is that when you are watching this, if you are watching this on the day that it goes up, I'm going to be watching the 1975 in Manchester for the, I'm going to say 6th time, but it could be more than that. Another special occasion, if you are watching this the day after it goes up on Friday, I will be seeing the 1975 in Sheffield. Every time they tour, me and my best friend Ryan go at least twice, and so I thought, as I was tagged to do this, and it was one tag that I definitely fully intended to do, the day that I'm actually going to be at the 1975 was the perfect day to put this tag up. So each question in this tag is based on one of the songs off the 1975's third album, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. There are like 15 songs on this album, which means there are 15 questions, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. Question number 1, the 1975. Is to pick a modern retelling of a classic. So for this one I have gone for Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in his new science fiction series. This book was released last year. Second book will be out this year. I have not read this yet, but it is super high on my TBR. I just want to finish up the Lotus War trilogy so that I'm not reading too much Jay Kristoff at once. But this is an Anastasia retelling. Anastasia is my favorite cartoon film from childhood. I say cartoon because like it's not Disney and like I have a favorite Disney film, but then I love Anastasia more than any Disney film. It's literally like my favorite thing. Number 2, Give Yourself a Try. Is to pick a character arc. For this, I just had to go with Feyre from A Court of Thorns and Roses. When Feyre first starts out, all she is interested in is finding somebody who has enough money to provide food, shelter, and everything that her and her sisters need because they're kind of struggling. They live in a hut. Feyre hunts for their food. By the end of the trilogy, she is like so completely different. She's been through some stuff, and I just love the whole arc and like growth of her character. I just found it like absolutely amazing, and this is like one of the rare instances in that I really root for a female main character, because there are a hell of a lot of popular young adult series that have main female characters that just drive me insane. Number 3 is Two Time. And that is to pick an unhealthy ship. And for this one I have gone for Fallon and Ben from November 9 by Colleen Hoover. If you guys watched my most surprising reads of 2018 video, you will know that I actually kind of liked this book, but that doesn't mean that I can't identify that it is problematic and it's a toxic relationship. Like I can fully identify that in this. And Fallon and Ben, with like all the drama, all of the will they, won't they, the oh I want to be with you, oh no I don't, like they're not good together. But I still love this book. Number 4, How to Draw / Petrichor. Is to pick a dual perspective novel that was well crafted. Now I actually couldn't think of a book that had just 2 perspectives that was really well done. All I kept thinking of was like the last book in Divergent, and that was not well done. So I went for Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This made my best books of 2018. You guys know I absolutely love this series, and while it's not traditionally multi-perspective because like it's a graphic novel, there's not a lot of text, you do follow all the different factions that are involved in this story, whether it be the family here, my beauties, or the people who are hunting them down and trying to kill them. You follow all sorts of different people, and it does it in a way that makes you connect to each of them, and so you are emotionally invested in what happens to all of them. And as they are all trying to kill each other, that's not great for like your emotional health. Number 5 is Love It If We Made It. and it is to pick a book that deals with a social issue that is important to you. For this one, I did kind of have to go with the obvious because I don't read a lot of contemporary to start off with, and never mind like ones that deal with like social issues like directly and head on, although I do have a very large expanse of sea over there that I am hoping to read soon. But I went with The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This deals with the Black Lives Matter movement, which is like a big problem in America. I'm not sure if it's a problem in the UK. I don't think it is, but it's possible it could be. But this follows Star, who sees her best friend shot when he was unarmed after a party. It really enlightened me to what is going on in the US, because in the UK, like, we kind of, if you don't do anything wrong, the police don't bother you, essentially. And a lot of times you can be doing stuff wrong and the police don't bother you. So for me to sort of realise how bad it was in the US, because as well in the UK, like, police officers don't carry firearms generally unless they are like high ranking or they've been sent somewhere to do a specific job where they may need to carry a firearm. So like the thought of being shot by a police officer like has never crossed my mind, but in the US it is a big issue, and this really opened my eyes to what exactly that was like. Number 6 is Be My Mistake. And that is to pick a love triangle. So I went with The Hunger Games, that old classic love triangle of Katniss, Peeta and Gale. Personally, I don't think Katniss deserved any of them by the end because of how she treated them all horribly, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, I went for the old classic love triangle in The Hunger Games. Number 7 is Sincerity is Scary. Why can't we be friends? And this was to pick a slow burn romance. Now I went for one that maybe wasn't necessarily a slow burn, but I went for Red Queen. I'm not gonna say who it's with, like it's the main character but with somebody else. And it's not so much that it was a slow burn, it's just that it took forever to actually be a thing because of all the I want to be with you, no we can't be together, I want to be with you, oh no we can't be together, just like all that drama. So it took a very long time. And then the ending of the last book blue-balled me anyway, so we're going Red Queen on this one. Number 8 is I Like America and America Likes Me. And that is to pick a book that's set in a different country to the one that you live in. And for this, I went with my current read, which is Goyo by Junjo Ito. This is a manga, it's a horror manga, and it is about lots of fish with legs coming out of the sea and taking over Japan. So this is set in, it starts off on an island, and where I'm up to, like almost halfway through, it is set in Tokyo. I don't live in Tokyo, I don't live in Japan, so this fits the prompt. For the man who married a robot / love theme.
Playing games with young children at home with their parents. One day the man, whose name was at Snowflake Smasher 86, turned to his friend the internet and he said internet, do you love me? The internet looked at him and said,
and the prompt for this is to pick a poetry book. I don't own any poetry books anymore, like it's not really my thing, but one that I did really appreciate is Depression and Other Magic Tricks by Sabina Benheim, and she is a spoken word artist, and it's just a collection of her poetry. Some of it's like very spoken word style and some of it is not. I can't describe poetry to you because I just really don't read a lot of it, but it's one of the only modern poetry collections that I'd really liked. There is one that I really liked about how I think she's having dinner with her father and all she can think of is all the things that she blames him for like not being in her life and things like that. Number 10 is Inside Your Mind. All my books fell over. Number 10 is Inside Your Mind.
the back of your head is at the front of my mind. Soon I'll crack it open just to see what's inside your mind. Inside your mind.
And the prompt is to pick a character from a multi-POV book whose POV you always wanted to skip. And I'm ashamed to say that the first time, not when I read them all last year, but the first time that I read Air of Fire, I did not care about Manon. And I was like, what is the point in following her? Like, why am I getting this perspective? Like, I literally don't care. However, by the time I get later in the series and upon my reread, Manon is my queen and my #1 favourite character. But at the time when I first read Heir of Fire, I did not care about her, and I just didn't want a perspective in this book. I just wanted Selena to go back home and continue what she was doing there. And Manon was just getting in the way of that. Number 11 is It's Not Living If It's Not With You. And the prompt for this is to pick a favourite trope. I love tropes. I really do. I don't mind a love triangle because there's a lot of angst involved in that. I like hate to love, I like friends to lovers, I like slow burn, I like insta love. If it's not done like in a really tragic way, then I quite enjoy insta love. But I also really enjoy manic pixie dream girls. I think they're awesome. And also I really love the tearaway bad boy characters. So yeah, there's quite a lot of tropes that I really like. Number 12 is Surrounded by Heads and Bodies. And the prompt is to pick a book that you finish quickly. So I'm going with my last read, which is Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton. This book has 504 pages and I started it on a Wednesday, as in the Wednesday just gone if you're watching this as it goes up. And I finished it last night, which was Friday night. So 3 days, 500 pages in 3 days. On Friday night I read the last like 280 pages of this book in pretty much one sitting with like a few texted and Twitter breaks in between. I don't like, I gave this book 5 stars and I do really enjoy this series, but it's not like an absolute favourite. It's just super fast paced, super easy to read and really compelling. Number 13 is mine.
Young man's life should settle down and find himself a wife, but I'm just fine, 'cause I know that you're mine.
And that is to pick a book that fits your brand or a book that represents you. And I'm going to go with The Beast Player by Nohoko Uehashi. I still can't say the author's name. But this is a young adult Japanese translated fantasy that has a lot of animals in it, like mythical creatures and animals. And pretty much nobody has read this. It has like no reviews on Goodreads and I'm the only person, it feels, who has read it. I have inspired a few of you to pick it up and I'm so thankful for that. But I feel like a lot of you associate this book with me. Like if you picked it up, it's probably because of me, because I haven't seen anybody else reading it. And also, you guys know I've been loving East Asian inspired or East Asian translated fantasy at the moment. And this was the first one that I read most recently that really kicked off that. So this like fits my brand and I also feel like I'm kind of associated with it as well. Number 14 is I Couldn't Be More in Love, which is my personal favourite song off the album. And the prompt for this is to pick an OTP or ship that is not canon. And so because this is my favourite song, I went with the ship that I will die on the hill of, that this should have happened. And it's also really topical at the moment, but Alina and Nikolai. What the fuck is Mal? You're telling me you'd have the potato that is Mal like here, and you'd have the god, the prince, like the legend that is Nikolai here, and you would walk over to the potato? I don't think you would. And then lastly, number 15 is I Always Want to Die Sometimes. And the prompt for that is to pick a book with mental health representation that you feel was done well. and I have gone with Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, because when I read mental health in books, I can't often say if it's accurate or not, because I'm lucky enough not to really struggle too much with mental health, and a lot of the mental health depicted in books is definitely something that I have not experienced. But I read this, and this follows Asa, and there is like a sort of plot to this book, but it mainly focuses on the fact that she has thought spirals, OCD and anxiety. And this book was very triggering even for me, who does not have anxiety, OCD or thought spirals, and I've heard that it is triggering for people who go through that, but it is also a very accurate representation, and it has been a way for those people who experience these things to feel seen and be like realize that it's not just them, like some of the really weird and bizarre and crazy stuff that you would not do when you are thinking rationally, but you can do when you are suffering with mental health problems, are depicted in this book. And I think that it was done really well. It felt real, like it made me feel uncomfortable because it was just like too close to the bone, you know. And yeah, I think this one was done really well in that aspect. So that is everything for the brief inquiry into online relationships book tag. I'm going to tag Ryan from Reading with Ryan, although he won't see this tag because he's gonna be with me at the 1975. And I'm also going to tag Clara from Clara Reads Books, because I know that she wasn't, well, I don't think she was tagged originally, and she tweeted about how good the 1975 are, and girl, they are. I will also tag anybody else who loves the 1975 and has not done this tag or has not seen it yet. But that is everything from me today. Please let me know if you love the 1975 and tell me your favourite songs. Please also don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.